Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share with you guys my review of the Moto Z2 Play. I've used this device for over 3 weeks. I've even taken it with me on a trip with the family and decided to use this as my main camera for photos. Meaning this is the camera that I went to every time I wanted to take a really nice photo outside. You will be surprised, and I'll explain to you why this device in the middle of 2017, almost in the later part of 17, is still by far Motorola's best device of the year. This is TK, and I want to say thank you very much to Verizon for allowing me to check this device out. Let's go ahead and check out the review. A few weeks ago I did an unboxing for you guys, so I'm not going to go through and explain to you what's inside all these 3 boxes. The Z2 Play is the Verizon version of this. It's a 3 gig, 32 gig internal storage, 1080p with a 5.5 inch display, and I'll explain to you some of the internals real quick with a quick tour. The Hasselblad Zoom mod, this is from last year. It was basically does have an updated software version that's running currently with the Z2 Play. I did install that when I first connected it, and of course the sound boost speaker from JBL. Definitely the best experience you can get audio-wise out of our device. And I'll explain to you how this package really makes it so compelling for a back-to-school experience, because you don't have to get the high-end device to be able to get a great experience out of it. You can get a Snapdragon 625 chipset and still get great pictures, great audio, and of course there's other mods available on the market. The Z2 Play is definitely a unique device, even from the aesthetics. What we see here is a 5 megapixel front-facing camera with an f2.2 that has a dedicated flash. So that's something that is separate from the one in the back that has its own 12 megapixel sensor, one single sensor with a dual LED flash. So you're going to get the best experience not having to use that fake light from the screen when you're taking front-facing selfie pictures. As far as the aesthetics and hardware, we do have a fingerprint sensor at the bottom that's dedicated to be a fingerprint sensor. You can use it as a navigation button, and I just turn it on and I can press and hold to turn off the screen. But it's not really meant to be a navigation button. So if I press and hold unlock, you'll notice your navigation button's right there on the bottom of the screen. You can use the fingerprint sensor in gesture mode, which is turned on under the Moto app, but it's not exactly the same smooth experience as you're getting right now. Overall, with hardware, let's keep the tour. Nothing on the left. On the back, we have the 12 megapixel sensor. We do have the dual LED flash, and then of course the Moto Mod pins on the bottom here to give you access to connection of all those Moto Mods that you get. Even with the Moto Z Force, this is compatible with it, even though it's the Play edition. On the right side, we have a single button, textured button for power, and then a volume rocker. It makes it easy to figure out which one. So all your buttons are on the right. On the top, we have nothing other than the SIM tray with the expansion memory card slot, as well as one microphone. On the bottom of the screen, you can see right there, there's one of the microphones dedicated for the front-facing camera. Of course, on the bottom, we have the USB Type-C, definitely a nice upgrade from last year, and we still have a 3.5mm headphone jack. That's something that you will not find on the Moto Z Force, as they dropped this again as of last year, and then now they're using dongles. Last but not least, we have an audio voice canceling microphone right here. It gives us access to great audio. Call quality on this device is pretty good, solid connection. Battery life with the 3000 milliamp battery, it's been consistently great. As I mentioned to you guys in the beginning, I did take this with me on a trip, and I used this device as my main shooter, meaning selfies, back cameras, and all of that. This is it. Overall, with the UI, what I really like about Motorola right now is the fact that the UI is extremely simple, very nice, close to stock, so you're still getting that same swipe up, swipe down. We do have somewhat of a similar shelf experience, or basically Google Now experience, what we get with Motorola. It's designed and maintained by a company called EVIE, but essentially it's a news aggregator as well as a shortcut to application, frequently used application, and of course weather, and then Google search. You still have the ability to use their time. This is their kind of like their unique clock widget. This is dedicated to them. And as far as just applications, you just get the same thing. The assistant is installed and turned on by default. You can use that. I have all my social media accounts. I was using this, as I said. I took a lot of pictures on this device, and that's something that you cannot say about most other devices that I've had as far as review. Now, I'm showing you guys here, this is my photo reel. I took a lot of pictures on this trip, and I actually did a video review of the ship, not using this device. I did use my Galaxy S8 for that one. But what I did want to show you guys is some of the experiences that I did. So like an example would be here. We were in in Victoria, Canada, and I took some really good pictures of my son. I'm hoping they come up really good. I'll actually post them directly over the video. But what I wanted to share with you guys is I actually used this in conjunction with 2 things. I used the front-facing camera for all of those front-facing selfies, so it was great for that, and it gave me the really good experience. The LTE connection that we had with Verizon makes this a really good connection device, especially when I'm traveling. I was in Alaska where my T-Mobile service was out. I almost had nothing, 50 megabytes of data, and it dropped. Verizon was there, and I was able to even stay connected and keep taking pictures and be able to post to social media. But the reason why I said I use this as my main device to take pictures, it's because of Moto mods. And Moto mods really make it so that this camera, it becomes really good. If you're not happy with the camera that comes on this, the 12 megapixel sensor on the back, the f1.7, you can install a Moto mod. Here's the Hasselblad Moto mod that we got with this. It's a 10x optical zoom, which means actually this does optical zooming onto your images. It has a dedicated laser autofocus, a microphone for audio, and it has a dedicated lens that's built into it with its own xenon flash. When you connect it directly to the device, it snaps on, and you'll get an optical, that little pop sound that you get, and that tells you that the actual mod is connected, then it's working great. You can unlock your device, press the power button on the camera, and you'll notice that the lens is going to extend, and Hasselblad, the camera itself, the camera app changes. You'll notice on the top right there, you'll see the H, and that's basically all those customizations that come from the Hasselblad application. It does receive updates. I did receive one update when I first received the device and I connected it, and then once you're done with it, you just remove it. The next reason why I think Moto mods are the best thing that we have right now as far as modular systems is basically one of these guys, which essentially is the Jbl Audio Box. It's essentially a small boombox. Connecting it to your device will give you access to great speakers built in. It has its own battery that powers itself, so it's not going to drain your device as it's using it. You can use the kickstand and then start using it as a boombox. Really good. You can even keep it in a downward facing configuration, and you'll still get a really good sound experience. First thing we're going to do is the front facing speaker. Now it's facing up, and I have it, I think, at about, it's 100%. Sounds pretty good, and the audio out of the headphone jack on the bottom is decent. There is a built-in EQ that's in the system. The only way I was able to find it is by actually going into Google Play Music and going under equalizer setting. You'll notice there's an audio effect configuration for the speaker and the wired stereo headphones. You can go to 3D sound and change the configuration, and it's actually pretty decent. I would say it's definitely not a bad experience, not the best, but again, it's really nice for what you're getting here for about a $400 device that we get right now. Let's go ahead and listen to the music using the boombox, or as most people would say, the Moto mod. Let's go ahead and put it in. As you see, it definitely makes an amazing difference between the two. Now, it doesn't actually cover your camera, so you're not losing any experience there, and the flash is exposed. So all you're really getting here really is the addition of that mod. Again, if you don't want it, you can put it on the side. You can charge it separately with its own USB Type-C connector, and it's pretty easy to configure. Again, very simple, very easy, extremely simple to use, and definitely a really good experience. I want to mention one more thing about the device is if you do actually end up putting a case on this, just be aware that none of the Moto mods will work with a case. That's because it needs that flush connection with the device as well as being connected there. So if you're going to get a case for this device, just be ready to kind of do a lot of swapping. If you do get a skin, that may work. I'm hoping the magnets will work pretty good as the pins and everything else is exposed, but I haven't had the experience with this since this is a review unit. Last but not least, I wanted to talk to you guys about battery life and overall performance. Now, with a Snapdragon 625 with 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage, I actually want to say I did run out of space when I was taking pictures, and that's because I was taking a lot of pictures. Putting that extra SD card storage that you have and transfer those pictures off. Overall, wrapping up the experience with this device. The things that I liked are the display, the camera, the audio playback on this is pretty decent. The battery power, it actually lasts about a day and a half. It's a 3000 milliamp battery, but when you compare that and actually combine it with a 1080p 5.5 inch display and the fact that you're running the Snapdragon 625, it's a really nice combo. Didn't have any single hiccup or stutter with the system, and the UI is pretty simple as it is close to stock as possible. It's also running the latest version of Android 7.1.1. I will ask you, really, leave me a comment, show me how many devices do you have other than Nexus or Pixel devices that are running the latest version of Android. It's very few manufacturers will even go to 7.1.1, and Motorola is going there, and it still gets updated. I received an update 2 days ago, and it's still getting updated, and I hope to be able to see Android O on this in the near future. Overall, very, very nice. And if I had to really nitpick on one thing, is the fact that we lost something from last year that we had with the Moto Z from last year and the Z4. And those are the style backs. And that came out of the box without nothing. As far as the device, it was just the device and the charger and pretty much it. So if you want to basically pick this up at about 400 bucks off of Verizon, it's going to be pretty decent, and it's a very nice performer. Great battery life, great display, front-facing audio, front-facing flash with your camera, great camera in the back, and of course access to all of the mods from Motorola. Verizon did really a good package here, but providing you guys a really good price to come back with going back to school. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like and subscribe as usual, and I'll see you guys in the next video.